What's good, family? Welcome back to another episode. Just 5 days into free agency, and we already see players getting generational wealth bags. We got Fred getting 3 years, 130 million from the Rockets, or even Bruce Brown getting 2 years, 45 million from the Pacers. You just love to see it, man. And in this video, I'm going to touch on every key signing and trade that's happened this offseason for all 30 teams. So if you haven't subscribed, make sure you smash that subscribe button, and let's go ahead and get into the video. First team we're going to kick it off with is the Atlanta Hawks. As far as free agency, they haven't been moving around much, but they did trade away John Collins and his horrendous, terrible contract for Rudy Gay. I mean, that was clearly just a dump off his contract. Rudy Gay is 36. He's not even really a serviceable NBA player anymore, just a vet presence in the locker room. But John Collins, they just could not handle that contract. And to be real with you, ever since 2019, 2020, John Collins has been on the decline. I don't know how you say it. The man signed a 5-year, $125 million deal and has severely underplayed it. So the Hawks got tired of it and let my man go. Let's go ahead and get into the next team. The next team is the Boston Celtics, y'all. As far as free agency, they signed Osei Brissett to a 2-year deal, but that wasn't the splash that they've had this offseason. We all know their splash was a 3-team trade, landing them Kristaps Porzingis, sending away Marcus Smart to the Memphis Grizzlies, and the Memphis Grizzlies sent Tyus Jones to the Washington Wizards. But for the Celtics, man, I mean, Kristaps just had one of his best defensive seasons this last season. We know what he can do offensively. Offensively, it's more of can he just stay on the court, because he's a unicorn. Ever since he's came into the league, ever since the New York Knicks days, we were like, man, this is a 7'2", 7'3" big who could shoot the 3 ball, who could shoot the midi. His only thing is he need to stay on the court and not be so soft. So for the Celtics, man, you could just pray and hope to God that he gonna be healthy, he gonna be all good. But as far as the fit wise, I mean, you just paired up Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum with pick and pop big. He's not really much of a pick and roll big, but he at the end of the day he is 7'3", so not a lot of players are 7'3". You just throw him that lob and he might get you a couple of them. And defensively, again, like I said, lining him up next to Al Horford after his best defensive year he ever had in his career. You got to hope for it, man. And the Celtics, you got to do something. You got to do something to try to maximize that window of Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, because I'm going to be real with y'all. After the season was over, I thought Jaylen Brown might be on his way out. But with this is at least buys him maybe 1 or 2 more years. But let's go ahead and get into the next team, and that is the Brooklyn Nets. They did bring back Cam Johnson on a 4-year deal, $108 million. They also brought in Dennis Smith Jr. on a 1-year deal, and my boy Lonnie Walker, Laker faithful, man, played some great minutes for the Lakers. He's a great backup point guard in this league, man. I was ripping Darvin Ham because I personally am a Lakers fan, but I was ripping Darvin Ham when he was getting DNPs and during the season. But that's a whole other topic, y'all. Darvin Ham is a whole other topic. But Lonnie Walker, happy to see him go to Brooklyn, get a 1-year deal, try to really prove himself. This last season on the Lakers, he came off the bench, cooked Stephen Curry in that game 4. So you love to see it, man. Lonnie, shout out you. But let's go ahead and keep it pushing. Let's get to the next team, and that is the Hornets, man. Yeah, I don't know, man. Look, they gave LaMelo Ball an extension, 5-year, $260 million. You tell me. Now you tell me. Take the hype out. Do you think LaMelo Ball is really worth $260 million? Has he proven that he's worth $260 million in 5 years? Because in my opinion, I don't think so. Yes, he's got hype. Yes, he's like a 6'7" point guard who has great core vision, but he's been extremely inefficient his last couple of years in the league. He's had 2 turns at playing in the play-in, and he choked them both. First time, all right, you know what? Maybe it's your first time postseason basketball, or maybe it's not even playoff basketball. It's just playing basketball. It was his rookie year. All right, we'll give you a pass. Second year, same thing. Got in the same playing situation and choked it again. To me personally, y'all, and I know he has potential. I know he's like 22. But if you ask me, has LaMelo Ball right now, July 3rd, proven that he's worth 5 years, $260 million? In my opinion, no. But the predicament that the Hornets find themselves in is that if they don't give it to him, another team will. And then if he does end up working out, you just missed on your number 2 pick, I believe. I believe it's like the number 2 pick. So yeah, Hornets, in my opinion, a bit of an overpay, but it might work out in the future. Let's see it. Next team we got here is the Bulls. Bulls, they did bring Javon Carter on a 3-year deal, 20 million. Hometown kid. He is from Chicago. Love to see him go back home. And Kobe White also came back on a 3-year deal, 33 million. Kobe White, I'm very high on, y'all. I've been saying this throughout the season. Don't know why he wasn't getting a lot more chances earlier. I know he started to get a lot more of a chance once Lonzo was like kind of officially ruled out. But Billy Donovan really don't even really know what he's doing over there in Chicago. I don't even know if he knows how to properly run Kobe White and run that rotation. But Kobe White is I'm gonna say this, and y'all take it with a grain of salt, a Steph Curry-esque, like light, but like very light. But Kobe White got crazy range, y'all. If you haven't seen my boy Kobe White, go check him out. And to bring him in on a 3-year, 33 million, to have him come off the bench or fill in spot minutes, helping Javon and helping Lonzo as he's out, I think that's solid, man. Shout out Kobe White. Next team we got here is the Cleveland Cavaliers. They shook it up, y'all. I'm not gonna lie. Roster wise, if you look at just on paper, I really think the Cavs are a championship contender. Roster wise, clearly not on the court because they got embarrassed by the Knicks and got eliminated first round when they were the better team. But they did some big pieces as far as signing trades and as far as signing to make their team better. First and most notable, that's got to be Max Strus joined on the sign and trade, 4-year, $63 million. You love to see it. Undrafted player getting paid, man. A lot of undrafted players, they just need to go to the Heat, man, because you will just get paid. I'm talking about, look, now that's Max Strus, that's Gabe Vincent, that's Duncan Robinson. So many undrafted players just going to the Heat and then joining the Heat culture and getting paid. So shout out Max Strus. And he fits exactly what the Cavs are looking to do. They needed a shooter to slot in right on that lineup and match with Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell. So I love to see that. They brought back Caris LeVert, who I know Caris LeVert was getting a lot of hate, but at the end of the day, y'all, Caris LeVert is a pure scorer. He's a pure hooper, y'all, like knows how to put the ball in the basket. And to have that off your bench is vital, This last season, I believe he averaged about like 12 points per game. And he had a game where I think he went off for like a 40 burger or something like that. It might be 45, but Caris LeVert is just one of those pure scorers. You need him off your bench. Reminds me of a Lou Will in a way. And then let's talk about another one that the Cavs did is that they brought in Georges Niang on a 3-year deal. Solid sideways movement. Georges Niang's going to come in, hit some solid shots. But hey, man, if you've seen the playoffs, as soon as the lights hit, it's too bright for him and he chokes up. So I don't know if he's going to be any good come playoffs and shouldn't be playing to win the regular season. But next team that we got here is the Mavericks. They did sign Seth Curry to a 2-year deal. Dante Exum to a 1-year deal, and Kyrie Irving. Oh my gosh, y'all. I thought Kyrie Irving was going to get his max and he wasn't going to take nothing but his max because of all the money he's already missed out on these vaccines and all these fines, all this other stuff. So I was like, wow, Kyrie probably is going to ask for his absolute max. And will the Mavericks really give him like 5? I believe it was like 5 years, 260 million or something like that. Something absurd. But I'm glad the Mavericks didn't do it. They gave him the 3-year deal, 126 million. That's solid. But they went backwards and regressed by bringing in Dwight Powell on a 3-year deal. I'm bringing back Dwight Powell on a 3-year deal. Dwight Powell really wasn't it this last season in the playoffs, and now the Mavericks drafted Derek Lively. They brought in Rashard Holmes. So I think you let them run that and you don't even need to bring back Dwight Powell. You can use that money elsewhere, but it's too late for that. But the Kyrie Irving move, I'm not going to lie, y'all. I love to see it for Mark Cuban and the Mavs because I thought they were going to get swindled by Kyrie Irving. But they ended up getting him on a relatively good deal. Let's hope he's not a prima donna and can stay on the court. Let's go ahead and kick it to the next team, and that is the champs, man, the Denver Nuggets. They brought in Justin Holiday to a 1-year deal, and then Reggie Jackson, solid backup point guard, comes back on a 2-year deal. They did lose Bruce Brown, which is big, but ultimately, I'll just say it right now, I think that even without Bruce Brown, they can get back to the finals. And then they bring back DeAndre Jordan, a real vet. Definitely not contributing on the court, but a real vet in the locker room presence. A lot of players
on the Denver Nuggets team talked about how DJ was big for them. Next team that we got is the Pistons. Monte Morris came via trade with the Wizards, more of a sideways move. The Warriors, they did bring in Draymond Green on a 4-year deal. Not gonna lie, I thought Draymond was out the door. And then they also brought in Corey Joseph to a 1-year deal, and then Chris Paul came in via the Wizards trade. I understand dumping Jordan Poole's contract. Don't get me wrong. I'm right there with you. You want to dump Jordan Poole's contract and get rid of that horrendous contract because he was clearly underplaying it. But you just brought in Chris Paul, who's older and also has a terrible contract. Now, I get it. I get it. Chris Paul's contract next year is not guaranteed. So the Warriors are going to be able to save a lot of money. But you're bringing in an old player that doesn't fit, who also has a big contract. I don't know how I feel about that, y'all. That's just me being honest. But let's go ahead and keep it pushing. Let's get to the next team, and that is the Houston Rockets. They brought in Dillon Brooks, man. I'm not going to lie. A lot of people were saying Dillon Brooks is going to China. Dillon Brooks sucks. Dillon Brooks this, Dillon Brooks that. And that's all to his own fault. He decided to test LeBron, and he got did in. But the Rockets threw him a bag, man. 4 years, $80 million. Jock Landale also signed with the Rockets, 4-year deal. Fred might have got the biggest bag, y'all, this offseason. A 29-year-old point guard, proven winner. So I'm not going to lie. He's going to help the Rockets a lot. The Rockets just drafted Amen. They still got Jalen Green. They got a lot of young, raw players, a lot of raw talent. They just traded away Josh Christopher. So they still got a lot of young pieces over there. And now you bring in Fred on 3 years, $130 million. I think that's like $56 million a year. That's crazy, man. That is crazy. But all right, let's keep it pushing. Let's talk about the Pacers, man. My boy Bruce Brown. I told y'all we would talk about it. He's another one, just like Fred, really got paid this offseason, man, and deserved it. He deserved it. I mean, I've been saying this since Bruce Brown's been on the Brooklyn Nets. He might be the best, not might be, is the best role player in the league. I used to say Mikal's the best role player in the league, but ever since Mikal went to the Brooklyn Nets and took that step up, now Mikal is, I'd say, about at a star level. So he's definitely above a role player. So that's why Bruce Brown gets the #1 role player in the league award to me. He can play so many positions. He can shoot the ball, play a backup point guard if that's what you need him to do. He can be the ball handler on the pick and roll. He can act as the big and defend bigs, and also play as the big on that pick and roll as well. So shout out Bruce Brown. Definitely got his bag. 2 years, $45 million. Make a real quick, just in and out real quick. 2 years, make a quick $45 million. That's crazy, y'all. NBA money is absurd. But let's also talk about Tyrese Halliburton, their star, agreed to a 5-year, $260 million extension. Now Tyrese, different than LaMelo. I think he might actually deserve it a little more. And then Obi Toppin, the Pacers brought in Obi Toppin from the Knicks. And honestly, from the Knicks side of things, I just don't get it. I really don't get it. It just does not make any sense to me. You really traded away Obi Toppin, the man you drafted 3 years ago, in the number 8th pick, and you're already giving up on him. Hey, y'all know what they traded him for? Like, I'll be different if they traded him for some bucket getters or some first round picks. Nah, y'all. They traded Obi Toppin, their 8th overall pick, just 2 or 3 short years ago, for 2 second-round picks. 2 second-round picks. Are you serious? Man, the New York Knicks is exactly what's wrong with today's basketball society. Y'all just giving up on players way too early. Next team that we'll talk about, y'all, it's got to be the Clippers. KJ Martin came in with a trade via the Rockets. I don't really understand why the Rockets just started giving up on KJ Martin, gave it up on Josh Christopher. These are extremely young players, but they did. The Clippers did get KJ Martin via trade, and then Russell Westbrook came back on a 2-year deal. I believe it was like $8 million, so he's only making like $4 million a year. If that's the case, now you getting Russell Westbrook for a steal. He's gonna outplay his contract, and he's gonna look great this year. That's the thing with NBA and contracts, man. If you outplaying it, you look great. But if you underplaying it, the whole world gonna hate you. But now let's talk about the Lakers, man, because I think they have absolutely killed and won free agency by a landslide so far. Cam Reddish, 2-year deal, amazing pickup. You're talking about a 6'7" wing who now you're going to line him up behind Rui, who you also brought back, who you're going to line up behind Taurean Prince, a man who you also brought in on a 1-year deal. Taurean Prince, he's going to be able to play the role that Vando played this last season of being a defender, being a stopper. But the thing is, Vando and his weakness is that he could not shoot that corner shot consistently. He couldn't shoot it at all. Taurean Prince, we talking about a man who's shooting 38% from three. So he got that strap to him, and he can play some defense. So like I mentioned, Lakers brought in Taurean Prince. And then one of my favorite moves, Gabe Vincent, 3-year, $33 million deal. I love that, man. Rob Pelinka, I wasn't too familiar with your game, man. Now I am, though. Now I am, because I like that move. That move came out of nowhere. Rui, like I mentioned, also came back on a 3-year deal. Jason Hayes agreed to a 2-year deal. D'Angelo Russell, whoever D'Angelo Russell's agent is, I need to get with him. Because D'Angelo Russell came back on a 2-year, $37 million deal. That's $18.5 million a year. Austin Reeves, on the other hand, who single-handedly was the solution and damn near saved us last year in the playoffs, the complete opposite of D'Angelo Russell. Austin Reeves, he got 4 years, $56 million. That means that Austin Reeves is making less money than D'Angelo Russell. D'Angelo Russell was the reason the Lakers almost just got even worse than, I don't even know what to say, y'all. I honestly ran out of words right there for a sec, because I was gonna say got swept, but they did get swept, and that's because the play of D'Angelo Russell was horrendous. Coaching was terrible. We're not here to talk about the regular season, but I'm here to talk about whoever D'Lo's agent is. I need to get with him, because $18 million after that performance. And whoever Austin Reeves' agent is, he got to fire him, because 4-year, $56 million. Austin Reeves' agent must have been just texting Rob and said, "What can you offer us? We'll take whatever you want to give us." That was wild, man. But all right, let's keep it pushing. Let's get to the next team. That is the Memphis Grizzlies. Desmond Bane extended 5 years, $207 million. Now I know what I'm gonna hear. I know I'm gonna hear, and I've already heard it. This is an overpay. Desmond Bane is not this good. Desmond Bane is not this good. Honestly, I'm gonna be real with y'all. I agree. He's not 5 years, $207 million max worthy. He's not, in my opinion. But if he leaves and he walks, that team is not the same threat that they are. Desmond Bane was the number 2 scorer on that team. At times when Ja Morant was out, he was the number 1 scorer. He was the guy that they played through. And if he walks, that team crumbles. Again, I'm not saying he's the best player on that team, but he's a vital part of what the team's trying to do. And if he walks, the team crumbles, man. So the Grizzlies kind of were forced of giving it to him. They do bring in Derrick Rose on a multi-year deal. That'll be solid for them. Marcus Smart, like I mentioned, he joined in via the three-team trade with the Wizards and the Celtics and the Grizzlies. Now, they did give away Tyus Jones, which is going to be one of my biggest concerns coming into the season, because we know what Tyus did when Ja Morant was out. We know that Tyus was single-handedly the best point guard, the best backup point guard, also had the best assist-to-turnover ratio. So it sucks to see him go, but you do bring on, Derrick Rose, veteran point guard, Marcus Smart, also a veteran point guard, and you get Desmond Bane the bag, man. So I guess you can't be too mad at it. The Miami Heat, they did bring in Thomas Bryant on a 2-year deal. Kevin Love also came back on a 2-year deal, and Josh Richardson agreed to a 2-year deal. Thomas Bryant, I love that move, because I've been saying the Heat need a real backup big, or they just need a real big at the 5, because Bam Adebayo, as great as he is, in my opinion, he needs to play the 4. He's not supposed to be a 5. He's too small to be the 5. Every single year that he has gone against a real 5, whether it be 2020 and Anthony Davis, he got did in. Whether it be this last year with Jokic, he got did in. He's too small, so you need to get a real 5. Now, Thomas Bryant isn't the answer, but Thomas Bryant is going to be able to help Bam Adebayo take some of them bows from Jokic, some of them bows from Embiid, some of them bows from these big men, because the 5 market is very slim. So you kind of have to, be happy with Thomas Bryant. Kevin Love, OG in the game, but still getting it done. Love to see him come back on a 2-year deal. The Bucks, another team, were able to extend their championship window. If Chris Middleton doesn't come back, championship window is over and Giannis might go. Brook Lopez doesn't come back, championship window is over and Giannis might go. So you see what I'm saying? For the fact that the Bucks were able to bring back Chris Middleton 3 years, bring back Brook Lopez 2 years, bring in Jay Crowder, role player, 1 year. Man, these are maybe not Jay Crowder, but definitely Brook Lopez and Chris Middleton, moves that keep the team better for longer and keep Giannis happier for longer. Therefore, keeping Giannis. Next team we're going to go ahead and get into is the Timberwolves. Nickeil Alexander-Walker returning on a 2-year deal. I'm not going to lie, y'all. Might be one of the most underrated player in the league. He's just another one of those guys that just knows how to score, get to it. Troy Brown from the Lakers agreed to a deal with the Minnesota Timberwolves. Anthony Edwards agreed to a 5 years, $260 million extension. And Shake Milton also agreed to a 2-year deal. Anthony Edwards, you got to give it to him. You got to give it to him. He's the star of the team, and somehow figure out a way to get Cat out of there. All right. Next team we got here is the Pelicans. Didn't really do much. Brought in Herb Jones on a 4-year deal and Cody Zeller. Cody Zeller shouldn't be in the NBA anymore, but Herb Jones, I love to see it. He's a great, long, lengthy defender, knows how to score. But most of all, especially for that Pelicans team, plays a great defensive role and giving Zion a lot of breaks. I mean, Zion more breaks than Zion already gets. But all right, let's keep it pushing. Next team is the New York Knicks. Brought in Dante DiVincenzo on a 4-year deal. Yo, now they got Dante DiVincenzo, Villanova boy, Jalen Brunson, Villanova boy, Josh Hart, Villanova boy. And real quick, I just want to say, y'all, Jalen Brunson was lit this last year when Josh Hart came to the team because he was like, oh, I got a Villanova brother on my team, Villanova brother. So, hey, I just added another one, and maybe they'll do even better than they did this year. Let's see. Next thing we got here is Oklahoma City Thunder. Patty Mills joined via trade with the Nets, and then also Victor Oladipo also joined via trade with the Heat, and then Jack White agreed to a 2-year deal. Keep it pushing. Orlando Magic. I don't understand why Joe Ingles agreed to a 2-year deal there. Just getting his bag, probably because that team doesn't fit his timeline. He's gonna, in my opinion, just gonna be taking away shots from young guys who should be getting the ball and should be getting minutes, learning. And then Mo Wagner returned on a 2-year deal. Shout out Mo, my dog, ex-Laker. 76ers, they bring in Patrick Beverley, 1 year. Patrick Beverley, I mean, what is he? He's a dog, right? He's a dog, play some good defense. But if you ask him to do anything offensively, and I'll tell you first-handedly, as a Lakers fan, if you ask him to do anything offensively, it just looks ugly. It doesn't really go in. It's not it. And if Patrick Beverley sees 1-3 go in, he gonna think he having Michael Jordan 60-point game and start shooting every 3 he see. So for the Sixers side of things, it's good because you added a dog. You add somebody that's just willing to run through a wall for you, play some great defense and whatnot. But offensively, you might have just got even worse. And then I just want to real quick touch on James Harden's trade request. Like, I just feel bad for the 76ers. They traded James Harden to get Ben Simmons. They traded Ben Simmons to get James Harden because Ben Simmons refused to play and was trying to force his way out. Now James Harden is going to force his way out and probably refuse to play, just like how Ben Simmons did. Man, the 76ers cannot catch a break, but let's keep it pushing. Next team that we got here is the Phoenix Suns. We all know about the whole Bradley Beal situation. Yes, Bradley Beal now is rocking with the Suns, which I have a whole article out on that called about Beal's fit to the Suns. I don't really think that works, but I don't think it works in the play to win a championship. Yeah, you can be first in the regular season, but besides that, I don't think you're really going to do much. But let's talk about some of the other Suns moves, man. Drew Eubanks, 2-year deal. Eric Gordon agreed to a 1-year deal. Kadis Bates Diop, 2-year deal. Damian Lee come back on a 1-year deal. Josh Okogie, 2-year deal. My boy Chiazu Metsu coming on a 1-year deal, coming from Sacramento. And then Wada Wamba, whatever the heck his name is, the dude, the Asian big that used to be on the Brooklyn Nets last year, agreed to a 1-year deal. Maybe he'll have his breakout year here on the Suns because the Suns need a lot of rotational pieces. And then, just 5 more teams here. The Kings signed Sabonis to a multi-year extension, as they should. Return Alex Len on a 1-year deal. Trey Lyles is coming back. Kings, hometown team. Although I am a Lakers fan, the Kings are just like 45 minutes away from where I'm at. The Blazers, y'all. Jeremy Grant coming back on a 5 years, $160 million deal. I honestly don't understand it because if you're going to rebuild, why do that? Because if Dame's already requested out, most likely do right by him, send him where he needs to go. Give the team to Scoot, give the team to Anthony Simons, take away all these like vet players like Jeremy Grant. Like you're wasting away $160 million on Jeremy Grant. Give all those shots to Scoot, give all those shots to Anthony, start rebuilding your team. Why are you trying? Like Jeremy Grant doesn't even fit the timeline. He doesn't even fit the timeline. And even if he did fit the timeline, Jeremy Grant is mid. Jeremy Grant is going to keep you in purgatory. Why do the Blazers like to be in purgatory? They wasted away Dame and CJ era by being in purgatory. And then they wasted away Dame's career by being in purgatory. Are they going to do the same thing to Scoot? Are they going to do the same thing to Scoot? This is crazy, y'all. This is crazy to me because, like, why? I just don't understand. I don't understand. But the Spurs bring back Trey Jones, 2-year deal. Brother Tyus Jones, another great backup point guard. You love to see it. Raptors bring in Jalen McDaniels on a 2-year deal. Jakob Poeltl coming back on a 4-year deal. And another Laker, Dennis Schroeder, agreed to a 2-year deal. If he's going to be their starting point guard, they're going to have some issues because we're talking about a team that they were just running a lineup of 6-7 players. Now we're going to you insert a 6'2" point guard who plays totally different. So I definitely have concerns as to how the Raptors are going to do. And then let's get into these last two teams, y'all. The Utah Jazz. Jordan Clarkson agreed to a 3-year extension. And then, like how we talked about earlier, John Collins did get traded via the Hawks. Jordan Clarkson, keep giving it to him. If you're trying to build, maybe, I don't know if he's the number one piece you want to build around. I don't know if I could ever see Jordan Clarkson being the number one guy on the team, even the number 2 guy. But if we talk about number 3, 4, maybe even 6-man, right? He's a great 6-man coming off the bench. You would love to see that. And then last team, y'all, the Washington Wizards. I think very similar to that Blazers situation. If you're gonna rebuild, like, why bring in Kyle Kuzma? They brought in Kyle Kuzma on a 4-year, $102 million deal. I think you're just wasting those $102 million. Give them to other rotational pieces. Start building, start drafting, trade away Kuz, see what kind of assets you can get, go from there, because we all know about the whole Jordan Poole situation. Jordan Poole is going to be, their guy moving forward. They did get Tyus Jones, great young piece. Landry Shamet. I'm personally not big on Landry Shamet, but what I'm trying to say is that they got some young pieces, man, and I just don't understand why keep I wouldn't say Kuz is a vet, but he's a proven winner. He's a champion. Can't take that away from him. He's a champion. So I just don't understand why bring in a player like that when you're just trying to rebuild, right? If you're trying to rebuild, you want to tank as best as possible, not try to win or try to be mediocre. Like, you're just going to end up being in purgatory. But y'all, there you have it. That was all 30 teams. Just wanted to give a quick run through and talk about my thoughts of some of these first couple of days in free agency. I believe we're like 4 or 5 days into free agency. Today is July 3rd, like I mentioned. But yeah, we're about a couple of days into free agency. Just wanted to give my thoughts on some of these signings, some of these trades, and all of that's going down, man. But for the family out there, man, appreciate you staying tuned for the whole video. Make sure you smash that like button, smash that subscribe button. Comment down below. Let me know what videos y'all trying to see next, man. I'm gonna keep going with these off-season plans. And hey, man, subscribe, and we out of here, y'all. Clutch Talk out.